I just recently watched an interview where Colin and Samir interviewed the CEO of Patreon.
You have said that we might be witnessing the death of the follower.
The last 3 to 4 years on the internet have been very different than the previous years on the internet. I would follow somebody, and then every time they published something in the future, I would see it until TikTok came around. We think we can build you a feed that you're gonna like more and you're gonna spend more time on than if you chose who to follow. Now, people don't really spend time in follow-based feeds anymore, and the net impact of all of that is you almost can't reach your followers anymore as a creator. The follow is just not really a meaningful thing anymore on the internet.
The last 10 years of my life, I've spent growing this audience to over 500,000 subscribers. And now you mean to tell me that these subscribers no longer mean anything? But the more I listened, the more I realized he's actually right. Here's why subscribers and followers are dead in the year 2025. And how it's hugely gonna affect creators going forward. Back in 2020, TikTok took over the world out of nowhere. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing about TikTok. You couldn't go online and not see TikTok. Even your mom was probably scrolling TikTok. I remember at that time thinking, why? It's just vertical videos that are short. It's like a worse version of Vine. But it was one reason why TikTok had taken over the entire globe. For you. Instead of having to find content, click on it, and be disappointed, TikTok had developed the For You page where they found the content for you. All you had to do is swipe. If you like it, engage with it. If not, just scroll by. And before you knew it, they had pretty much crafted the perfect browsing experience for you every single time. And this experience not only felt like it was catered to you, it felt like it was just better. Millions of users were signing up daily. Stock prices were rising, headlines flying, and TikTok was trending worldwide. It was actually beginning to threaten some of the giants like YouTube and Instagram. So what did they do? They conformed as they always do. Algorithm updates and short form video to simulate the exact same experience as TikTok, with hopes to do it even better than them. And it happened fast, but that's to be expected. These platforms know us better than we know ourselves. They know our browsing history, they know what we like, they know what we don't like. They know everything. Us, the consumer, we get the content we like served to us on a silver platter. We stay on the platforms longer so the developers are happy, and the experience is better than it was, right? Well, turns out this was amazing for the everyday scrolling user, but creators like myself quickly started to realize some of the not so good things about these changes. Now this right here, this used to be like a playoff championship trophy or like winning a Grammy as a musician. Since the day you started on your dream, you've had your eyes set on winning this thing. Back in the day, if you had one of these, it meant that you made it. It gave you a sense of solidification on the platform. It gave you a sense of validity, you know? It kind of just gave you a stamp of approval for people checking out your channel. So in 2016, I decided I wanted this. Every week, I grinded out videos. I wrote ideas, I shot, I edited. I invested years into this, and it paid off. I got millions of views, I traveled the world, I worked with some of the largest brands in the world, but now the silver play button and the subscribers are just a vanity metric. And here's why. Almost immediately after this wave of algorithm changes hit to conform to the TikTok way, me and pretty much every creator out there felt an instant decrease in engagement on some, if not all, social media platforms. Instagram was massive for me. I vividly remember consistently getting around 4,000 likes on posts. Well, this instantly dropped to 1,000 to 2,000 likes if I wasn't playing the quote-unquote game. Twitter became an unbearable cesspool of political propaganda and negativity. And YouTube, well, YouTube was interesting. While I didn't notice any significant difference in view count, who was viewing significantly changed. I went from seeing the majority of my views come from people who were subscribed to me to the majority of my views coming from either new or returning viewers. To put it short, these changes made predictability and engagement on your posts almost impossible. The platforms were so much more volatile than they used to be. And this is cool for somebody who uses social media for fun to update your friends and family on what you have going on. But for somebody who uses social media for business, for advertisers, you can see where this could potentially go. Instagram had went from showing photo posts to whoever hit that follow button to now prioritizing short videos that people shared and saved. YouTube went from showing your videos to those who hit that subscribe button to those who recently watched a few of your videos. It completely altered the landscape of the platforms. You remember when the giants YouTube and Instagram felt threatened by TikTok and they conformed? Well, creators felt threatened for their livelihood and they conformed. With the chances of your posts being seen relying heavily on you creating short, hyper-focused videos with a controversial title and an engaging hook, creators did it. The platforms went from creating what you love to creating what was shareable. And it worked. You can almost gamify the system if you wanted to. You see something blowing up, just copy it, throw the trending sound on it. You got a guaranteed banger. And who could blame them? It was working. But this is where the inevitable problem came into play. Why would I try something else if I knew exactly what was working? To put this into perspective, if I know in my mind that I want to make a video about a topic that's not viral, it's probably not going to get shown on the platforms, which means I probably shouldn't make that video. It's not like back in the day where whatever you made got automatically served to the people who hit follow or subscribe. It feels like now if the project has zero possibility of getting shared, it doesn't even feel like it's worth it to make. This is something I still feel like I'm a victim to, unfortunately. I've had so many ideas I've liked, but I couldn't figure out a way to conform them to check all the boxes for me. Have a compelling title, an intriguing thumbnail, an amazing hook in the first 30 seconds. I need a feedback loop. All of these things. If I can't package this video the correct way, I'll just scrap the idea, which is crazy because I used to just make whatever I felt like making. But once the circumstances add up, you have to make a decision. I need to get paid from this. I can only make but so many videos in a month. Videos take a long time to make, and I want to grow. Once you add all this up, you start narrowing down your ideas to the ones that have the highest potential to check all of the boxes. This is what content creation became. Hyper attention grabbing edits that platforms knew that we love being served to us at all times of the day. But just like life, it's only but so much candy you can eat until the side effects start to show.
Our research shows that more people are seeing short form than long form now. People are spending more time on short form than long form. The strange thing about that is people are less likely to pay for short form than long form.
For sure.
They don't value short form as much as they value long form, but their hours are being driven to short form.
He also said that when you're looking to satisfy that 5 minutes of time during a commute or while you're in line somewhere, the fact that content is so short, there's a ton of options that will satisfy that time for you. As opposed to long form content, you're not gonna waste 20 to 30 minutes of your time unless you know that video is gonna satisfy that for you. And sometimes when I sit down to eat, I won't even start eating until I find the right video. Same thing with movies. I know I don't like the horror genre, so it's highly unlikely that I'm gonna go watch a horror film when I know that I can go click on a sci-fi one and it's gonna satisfy my time 9 out of 10 times. So what does that mean? That means that even though the view count is rising on this copy and paste content, we need stories and authenticity to be able to stick to. And that's what we're seeing now. It's been a huge resurgence of vlog, essay style, and wholesome content on YouTube, and less hyper-focused editing. Trends, they always seem to die down. And now as viewers are craving longer content that allows us to learn a lot, feel a lot, or be entertained for longer periods of time. The platforms, they aren't changing though. This new method of curating a feed of content that they think you will enjoy is here to stay. But it's not all bad, especially for new creators. The fact that Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are prioritizing content that keeps people on a platform longer and not creators who have the most amount of followers and subscribers means that it's no better time to start than right now. As a new creator, you have the most amount of opportunity right now at being seen unbiasedly. All you gotta do is check the boxes. Create a piece of content that is interesting enough for people to click, tell an interesting story, connect with the people watching the video, and keep them engaged. YouTube will push your content if you check these boxes, trust me. I see creators every day who have less subscribers than me getting way more views than I do. It almost feels like it's out with the old and in with the new. And honestly, that's kind of scary for creators like me who have been in this for a while and actually depend on it. But here's some things that we can do to ensure that we survive these drastic changes. Relying on viewership to live is one of the worst places to be as a creator, but unfortunately, that's the reality for a lot of us. The first thing that we need to do is other things that allow us to make money outside of just relying on viewers. Utilizing your skill sets in other places to make a living not only allow you to not stress about viewership, but it also allows you to make what you want to make more often. This diversification can be in the form of selling digital products, educational content like courses, or even freelancing.
The truth is, if you rely on views, you're always going to create the thing that makes sense. But the real beauty and creativity is creating the things that make you happy.
Having a direct channel of communication with your audience is one of the most powerful things you can harness in this landscape of social media. Starting a newsletter or blog on your website is almost vital in 2025. If you can get products, your message, and art directly to your audience without having to fight an algorithm, then you can focus on creating the things that really resonate with them and not the algorithm. Starting a channel on Instagram is also a great way to do this. It'll directly send everything you want to subscribers' inbox for them to check out.
Another method that us creators can use to help keep us afloat is the one for me, one for you method. We can't ignore the fact that the discoverability on these platforms is extremely powerful, and we do want to grow. So let's create one piece of content that's strictly for growth and one piece of content that's strictly for fulfilling our creative needs. It's all about balance.
There need to be algorithms. Like, I'm not anti-algorithm, I'm not anti-discovery, I'm not anti-new creators. Like, all those things need to happen. It's a matter of balance.
The death of the follower is upon us. Are you gonna take advantage of it?
But like, if I get like 2 or 3 people that comment on my vlog and say, hey bro, nice work, yo, keep doing them, I really appreciate it. Like, the little bit of support that I do get on my vlogs, man, is amazing. I appreciate you all. Y'all the best. Y'all the best little audience. I appreciate y'all.
One thing I've always admired about myself is the instinct to just get an idea and instantly act on it. However, not planning made me just ramble on camera. My videos were all over the place. It took me a while to realize that being concise with your message is one of the best ways to keep a viewer engaged in the story you're telling. From scripting to creating a visual board to behind the scenes of me capturing the shots, this is how I plan the video you're watching. After landing on an idea, scripting is next for me in planning. I need to write out what the story is, how it's gonna progress, how it's gonna end. Then we can get into the fun part, the visuals. I find that if I can make a plan I can see, it makes the project 10 times better. To organize my project, I use Milanote. It's a free tool for getting projects prepared in whatever way makes sense to you. It's essentially a digital canvas that allows you to tack up your ideas, brainstorm, and collaborate when necessary. The magic in Milanote is the templates they offer. Without any knowledge of design or project organization, you can choose from one of the many templates they offer and start organizing your ideas. For projects like this, my go-to template is the pre-production one. I find that it has pretty much everything that I need to get all of my ideas out and not forget anything when I start shooting. From here, it's just replacing information and assets with my own. A short description of the project, drop in my main video reference, delete out elements I don't need within the template, and add in notes that I do need. And now that I have the bones for my project structure, I can get into the details. This is where I pasted my project script so I can reference the dialogue I need. I pasted my shot list. And another great thing about Milanote is that it's also a mobile app. So while I'm on set shooting a project, I can check off the shots as I'm capturing them. One thing about me is I am a very forgetful person. If I don't write it down, I am for sure forgetting something when it's time for me to head out to a shoot. This is where making a quick gear list comes into play. I can check off everything as I'm packing it into my car before I leave the house. And now we can finally get into the visuals. After I browse shot deck and pull frames for inspiration, I create my mood board. This is where I create my overall aesthetic for the project. Angles I want to replicate while I'm shooting, composition ideas I can look at, color palettes I can reference when I'm grading. This is basically where I spend the most amount of my time while I'm on set. I can also add short descriptions on frames that I can reference while I'm on set shooting to know exactly what I wanted to pull from them. And once my mood board's done, I like to just lay out my project sequencing for editing. I love the storyboard template for this because I can see easily each section of the edit, and I can also type in a quick description of what it will look like. We're gonna jump into the behind the scenes in a second, but I just really quickly wanted to show you guys my Milanote board, jump around in it, and show you some of the cool things that you can do inside of Milanote when you're organizing your creative projects. So this is just an overview of my project. You can see I have a quick description about the film that I'm creating, my inspiration, which includes my ideas, my mood board, the steps that I need to take to make sure that I complete the project, my story, which includes my project script, and then we also have a filming card right here, which includes the shot list and the gear list as well. Inside of Milanote over here on the left side, you can see you have a bunch of different tools that you can use to enhance the board that you're creating. So if I wanted to drop in a new note, all I really have to do is just, drag and drop that there, and then I can start typing in whatever it is that I need. You got to-do lists, lines, a bunch of other things like that as well. But let's go into some of the other detail boards that we have inside of here, starting with the mood board. This is where I tend to spend my most time inside of projects. Setting up a mood board is extremely easy. Once you have images, you can paste them here and they'll sit in this unsorted space.
And then from here, you can just drag them and drop them into the mood board wherever you want them to be. The thing that I love about the mood board so much is that I can add different captions to images, so I know when I'm on set what I wanted to reference from the frame. But you can also do some really cool things like draw on the frame as well. Like if you wanted to make sure that you had your lighting coming from a specific way, you can draw arrows, you can do different squigglies and different indications and stuff that you wanted to do on the frame. And you can just save it like that and it'll go straight inside of the board like that. So you know exactly what you need to reference from the frame after you drop it into your mood board. All of the boards inside of Milanote are just like a canvas. So you can basically just drag and drop anything anywhere and it'll just stick there. If you right click, you have other customizations that you can do to your board, like change the background color. You also have color swatches that you can easily choose and adjust the color as well. And you also have that exact same toolbar over here on the left side for you to be able to add different things into your mood board. Another detailed board that I have inside of here is my ideas. Now I love this one because it gives me a quick bird's eye view of the sequencing for my project and how I can put it together once I get into editing. We have my hook and my intro, which is gonna lead us straight into the video. From there, we go into how social media has changed. Then my backstory as a creator. Then we go into more conflict, and then we have solutions. And then we get into the behind the scenes portion, which we'll do after we check out the Milanote board. We also have my detailed project script, which has all of the information that I need to basically make sure my story and my video is extremely concise as I present it to you guys. And then we have my shot list. This is just a checklist of shots that I know that I want to get for the project. And as I'm on set and I'm capturing these things, I can quickly check them off and make sure everything is going seamless. And know once I get to the editing bay, I have the amount of shots that I need to cover the entire project. Here we have a quick gear list. Like I said, I'm an extremely forgetful person, so as I'm leaving out the door to go shoot, or if I'm heading downstairs to make sure I get some shots in the living room, these are the things that I know that I need to take with me. And even after this, I'm going to film some more things for the project. So these are some other things that I need to make sure that I scoop before I leave out. And all in all, this is the project and how I was able to create this video and make it extremely concise for you guys to check out. As a creative person, if you are not using Milanote, you're missing out on one of the best tools for compiling creative ideas and collaborating. And it's free. You can sign up for Milanote right now for free using the link in the description below. Now let's get into the behind the scenes shooting. Let's get into the behind the scenes for this project. We're on the Osmo Pocket 3 today, which I've never used before. The face tracking should be good for the behind the scenes, just to show me doing what I'm doing in my element and have me not think about it too much. I'm using the internal microphone, so hopefully it sounds good. Well, let's hop straight into it, man. Let's get it. I'm going super low effort with this behind the scenes, and this is what I would like to do, like, going forward anyways. I don't want to film and log or have it be too complicated to process in post. The great thing about using a small camera like this is I can just throw it on an Amazon Basics light stand like this. And y'all can just follow me around. I don't need a huge tripod or even a base plate for this to go onto. That's fire. I realized how distracting this is. When I watch people's like Pocket 3 content and the camera is constantly moving, it's so distracting to me. Let me turn this off. First plan of action is gonna be just to film my talking head setup. I have some lines that I have to read out throughout the video, and to make my life a lot easier to have a constant setup, I'm gonna set up a talking head setup. And then another thing that I can do while I'm in this talking head setup is that I can also just read off the voiceover lines that I need to put into the project that I plan on throwing other clips on top of. That way I won't have to do that separately. So I got my script written out. I have the certain sections from the script that I plan on saying on camera, so you can physically see me inside of the video. And then I have the voiceover portions of that where you won't see me, and I know specifically where those will be in the project because I've already done all that in the scripting. So set up the song ahead. Let's do that real quick. I'm ready to film. I want to kind of just walk out through the different things that I have to make the talking head setup work. We got this Octodome from Amaran, which is a softbox you guys just saw me set up. And then I'm using the Amaran 150C. It's my primary key light. Great, affordable, good price. I already said affordable. I don't know why I said good price. It's bi-colored as well, and it's full RGB, so you know you can get it to whatever color temperature you need. As far as cameras, I'm running the Sony a7C Mark II. Lens on it I got is the 20mm f1.8. Love this lens. It's compact. It has really great bokeh. And then monitor, I'm using a small HD 502 Bright. Super old monitor. I don't even know if it's still available.
And there's better ones out there, but you know, it works for me. Tripod, I'm using a Potato Jet Small Rig collaboration, which is great. I like this. And then I got this super clamp setup right here with this magic arm. And I like to just have my phone right here. So when I'm, you know, talking to the camera, I can reference my notes, make sure my scripting and everything is right. And then for audio, I'm using the Rode NTG4 Plus boom microphone. Got that on the C stand, and then recording audio into the Zoom H5. And that's pretty much it. The reason why some of my script is in red and some of it is in black, the red parts indicate the parts where I know that I want to actually be on camera. So those are lines that I'm reading straight to the camera. This is all talking head, and this is like a part where I need to actually look at the camera and say these words. And then for the other parts, it's not necessarily necessary for me to do that, because I know that I'm going to be overlaying footage from other references, maybe old footage, B-roll, stuff that I'm planning on filming throughout the behind the scenes. So that's how I kind of differentiate the parts of my video where I know I'm going to be on camera and the parts where I'm not going to be on camera. I'm already predetermined in these places, and it makes it also easier for me to read through the script as well, because if I know I'm not going to be on camera, I can just look at my phone and read the words while I'm saying it to the microphone. Talking head is complete. What I think I'm gonna do now is, before I actually get into more shooting for the project, I'm gonna actually chop down the talking head portion, and then this will give me a better insight on just how long the project could potentially be, and that can give me more insight on how much more shooting I need to do. This is the actual first day of production. I've been doing a lot of groundwork inside of the timeline for the project over the past couple of days, basically just laying in bed for the project, tracking out the audio, tracking out the sound effects, all the other assets that I can pull from online, like references from the interview and just old footage of mine, just laying in bed. So all of this stuff that I'm filming right now, hopefully I can just drop it into the timeline and everything will sync up, and it'll just make the process of editing so much easier because I already did the hard work. But today, we're just gonna be floating around doing a bunch of different shots. One thing about my living room, as you can see, is that it's a lot of natural light in here. So instead of me trying to bring in additional lights, overpowering the windows and, you know, trying to enhance the scene, I think the easiest and simplest thing that I can do is just to bring in negative fill. So I got this really big black fabric that I bought from a fabric store a long time ago, and I'm gonna just use that. This could be some really good insight to y'all as well, because like, if you don't got a bunch of money to pay for lights, because lighting can be expensive, you can just do this and still get some cinematic looks. So I'm hoping that everything goes smooth. I'm gonna go through now and do the setup, and then we can talk about the specific setup and everything that is inside of the setup. Let's do it. You see my face, man. Just trying to act like you don't see me. You see me, dog. Relax. All right, so this is my negative fill setup. It's really just the fabric. I got it on a rolling C stand, which is super convenient for what I'm doing here, so I can just roll it everywhere. I got a grip arm, and then I just clamped this onto the grip arm. And like I said, I can just literally roll this anywhere I need it to go inside of the scene, which is extremely convenient. You can see it's already a ton of natural light in here, so I'm really just trying to block the spill from a certain side, and that side will be on the camera side because it's a lot of light coming from there. So it'll just help me get some more contrast inside of the scene. For this opening scene, I'm gonna do a slider shot. This is the Edelkrone Slider Plus, I believe. I don't know what it is. I'll link it down in the description. As well as all of this other stuff that I'm talking about. Camera's the A7C Mark II with the 24-70 G Master Mark II on it. So I'm basically trying to get the most difficult shots first, and then I could just bounce around on a tripod really fast, especially with this negative fill. So once we get this out of the way, these other shots will be quick butts. Let's get it rolling. Let's do it. Contrast, man. Ooh. Oh my gosh. For the people who don't know, like, I try to assume that not everybody who's watching my channel is a filmmaker. If you're not a filmmaker and you're like wondering why I have this right here, it's to create contrast ratios. Like, I'm gonna start a recording on the camera just so you can see what this looks like. I could probably adjust this exposure a lot better, but yo, just looking at it off rip, it just looks good. Now we got this example of what it looks like, right? I'm gonna look forward because this is probably how I'm gonna be looking in the frame, something similar to this. So this is a side by side. You can see, I should probably adjust the exposure a little bit and probably drop it down, but this actually does still look pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But just that additional like contrast, that additional flag, that additional shadow on this side of the camera just makes it look so freaking cinematic. And I ain't even do nothing. I'm just using window light, which is crazy. I just woke up from a damn nap. Do I look like it? I was gonna quit for the day, but the light is hitting so good in here right now that I just want to take advantage of it. So I think I'm about to try to get some of these lines off right now while I can, and just keep this day rolling. It's been a long damn day though, I'm telling you that. I've really been at it since like 5 o'clock this morning, bro. It's insane, but we gotta keep it rolling. You know, we got a little bit more time and we can utilize this. Now what I'm about to utilize again is this negative fill because it's so freaking convenient. Y'all can see the light in here is already really good. All I gotta do is bring in this negative fill to this other side. We can get the contrast ratios we want. We're gonna be able to get some really nice looking footage. I'm thinking about even bringing in my hazer and you know, I can get some beams of light coming through the window. But I gotta act fast, so I can't do much BTS talking. I just gotta watch me, all right? I really wish I still had that 16 millimeter that Sony had lent me, man. I love that lens so much, yo. Dang, I'm tired. Woo! What I'm about to do now is I'm about to blast in a little bit of haze in the room, just so we can kind of get these beams that are coming through the window and then film some shots. Let's do it. It's hazy. I don't got the beams. You see the beams right there going crazy from this angle though, right? They just not in my shot. It's just not catching them in the shot. It is what it is though. It adds a layer, a depth to the shot, and I don't know. It's cool. Another day of production. This day is gonna in-house a lot of the stuff that I gotta film in the office with me actually on the computer so I can put it throughout the milling portion of the sponsored part of the video. By me doing a lot of the prep work in the timeline before I started shooting, it made me realize that I don't actually need a lot of the shots that I wrote out inside of my pre-production or like my shot list for the project. So that kind of helped me out a lot actually. But what I'm trying to figure out for this part in the office is how I'm gonna do lighting. I really want to stick to the same philosophy of just bringing a negative fill because I know it will be a lot faster than me moving the light around. A lot of the stuff of me will be at the desk, so I'm thinking of just using the tube lights. Even though I don't really like the way these look the majority of the time, I think if I bring us a negative fill, it'll be fine. And as long as the story's on point, I think it'll be good in terms of visuals. So I think that's what I'm gonna do now. For some of the shots of me at the desk, I want to use a slider, so I think I'm gonna use that first just to get it out of the way. I find that if I just get the slider out of the way, it makes it so much faster for me after the fact because I can just move around with this tripod. So let's set this up and get this rolling. Let's do it. I need to get a quick shot of my play button. I'm gonna leave it, let me try to flip this around. I'm gonna leave it on the shelf right here. But I'm just trying to create some depth. So you can see right here, just looking at my hand, it's a lot of shadows on the left side. It's because I bought this negative feeling. And I'm gonna basically just use a slider, maybe like get like a shot sliding in on it, something similar to that. And yeah, that'll be that. Same setup. I'm not gonna keep explaining it. A7C. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We finna pack up all this stuff and head out. I want to get some dialogue shots to throw into the rest of the video because I actually have a lot of dialogue stuff that I need to capture. So I'm just gonna bounce around the city and try to find some good frames, some stuff that looks similar to some of the references that I pulled off of Shot Deck. And we're gonna get it popping. Let's do it. I think this is gonna be location 1. I looked through my references that I pulled for the project, and a lot of the references that I pulled were actually inside of the house because I was assuming that I was going to be inside of the house and it was going to be easier for me to film inside of the house. But my kids are home, so it's actually just going to be better and easier for me to just float around outside. So I like this location right here. You can see we got this cool bridge back here, and then back that way it's just kind of like a dirt road, which looks pretty dope. So I'm gonna really just float around and try to find some angles that I like. I think that this angle right here with this fence looks dope. Some cool color contrast with the warm tones down there, and then you see we got the vivid blue sky right there, which looks dope. Then the bridge right here looks fire as well. And then talking about the street looks dope. The thing that I don't like about this location, not even necessarily even the location, is the time of the day. You can see that the sun is pretty high. So what I did is I have a diffusion flag, and then I got a C-stand. So I think I'm gonna just set up some diffusion and kind of just roll that around with the shots that I plan on getting. It's not the hugest diffusion, so my shots will have to be fairly tight for the most part. But I guess we'll just float around and see what we get. Here's our second location. I actually just found this, which is actually really dope. We got this really cool dock right here. The sun is over there. Same setup, not gonna talk about the camera. But I got my diffusion set up right here. It's just to make me look softer in the frame. It probably looks terrible on here, but trust me, I think that it's improving the shot on the camera. The shot looks dope though. Composition wise, I'm liking it. It has some really cool leading lines on both sides. I think that it could be fire. I just hope it's not blown out. One thing that I'm noticing with creating this behind the scenes with this video that is significantly different from, you know, some of the ones that I've done in the past is that I don't feel like I'm getting any like groundbreaking shots right now, but the fact that I've done the editing and the groundwork for the edit already, I'm realizing that it doesn't matter. The story is already ingrained in the video, and the flow and all of the additional assets and additional footage and stuff that I've already pulled. This stuff right here is just
gonna advance it like a very small amount. I could have essentially just filmed this stuff as like a talking head in my in my room, and it probably would have had the exact same effect with the message that I wanted to get through with the story and the overall topic of the video. So that's just, I don't know, this is just something that I'm learning. Like, because sometimes I can be very hard on myself when I'm shooting these shots because I want them to be cinematic and groundbreaking and look amazing and have incredible compositions and the best lighting in the world. But none of that matters. Like, the story is what matters. All of that stuff right there is just like a cherry on top. That's just the icing on top of the cake. Like, it's great that it's there and it does add and it does make it a better viewing experience. But if the story and the overall concept and the flow of the video is not there, none of that matters. You know, so the fact that I'm working backwards just makes me realize, like, it's all good because the flow and the timeline is already set, bro. It really does not matter what I film right now. So if you are feeling like that or you have that same complex or problem like I do, try working it backwards, you know? This is just like something that has opened my mind up a ton, because if I hadn't have done that first, I would be out here like stressing, like, damn, my shots are weak. I don't feel like doing this no more, discouraged. But I know that groundwork is already laid in this video, man. This stuff right here really don't matter. This building's fire. Reminds me of the Chromacopia album cover. I'm gonna shoot in front of this. So I think this would be a really dope, like, wide open grand frame. The lighting right now is just beautiful as well. So we're gonna shoot like a wide shot, get some close-ups moving, you know, do all that sort of stuff. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop this down in the comment section below to let me know who made it this far. Action for me is the word for the year. If you've had a dream or you've had a business venture that you've wanted to attack, or maybe you've wanted to lose weight this year, put some action behind those hopes and dreams. That's the only thing that's gonna push you forward, all right? Drop this video a like if you learned anything, it inspires you at all, or I gave you some insight on the shooting process of how I create my videos. If you guys want to plan your videos better, make sure you guys check out Miller Note. It's going to be a link down in the description below. It's completely free. If you're not using it, you're just missing out, man. But I appreciate y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'm out. Deuces.